Going on everyone, Cody back again. Yep, another video. Today's video is going to be on YOs, young offenders. Fucking hell. Like I say, I keep dropping these videos now and people are actually engaging with me and telling me what videos they want. I'm only more than happy to reply. When I do these videos and stuff like that, I don't like Google anything. I just talk off the bat about my experiences. YOs, I've come into contact with YOs on the last two times I've been to prison. I was in Cat A Strangeways first, but YOs don't go to Strangeways. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. There wasn't any there. YOs seem to go to Young Offenders Institutes, or YOIs as they're known. But they seem to be a dying breed now. A lot of young offenders. For those that don't know, a young offender is someone that's like the age of criminal responsibility in the UK. I think it's now age around 10 years old, right? Obviously, 10 years old, you don't go to prison and stuff, right? But like when you get to like 17, 18, 19, 20, up to I think it's 21, 20 or 21 is like the cut-off. Yeah, that's when you become a man, and that's when you end up in general population with the rest of the prisoners and stuff. But yeah, on my last two stretches and stuff, came into contact with YOs, in the sense of, like, I was in a Cat B Forest Bank in Salford. What they do with YOs, they are in general population within YOs. YOs are in general pops with, like, so general population is your men prisoners, age 21, 22, up to 50, 60, however old the prisoners are and stuff. YOs are fucking hell. Like the only rule with YOs really is they do not pad YOs up with like general pop. So YOs end up padded up with YOs, yeah. Like I say, I'm not speaking for all the UK and stuff. I'm just speaking about my experiences with YOs and stuff. Right, YOs are fucking ruthless. They're very boisterous. They're very fucking angry. A lot of Scouse lads that were in my last stretch and stuff. Good lads and that, good kids, you know. I've come across gang members. I'm a former gang member myself, but I come into contact with gang members who are up on murder charges, things like that. The thing is with YOs, yeah, they do not give a fuck, right? Where like the older guys that are in there, like general population, we're quiet guys. We kick off as well, but we have our moments and stuff. But overall, we're pretty chilled out. We just want to get our jail done and get out. YOs, fucking hell, boisterous, bouncing off the walls, getting about, fucking hands down the kecks, fucking like the ruthless little fuckers, man. They give the screws the run around. They get into fucking altercations, fights, kickoffs all the time. They jack people, they double up. A couple of them will group up and they'll go out. If they know someone's landed on the wing that's got drugs or something, yes, bit of spice, bit of weed, yeah, Subutex, which is like a heroin substitute. It's there to block out the effects of heroin if you take it and stuff. Like I say, all drugs in prison have got a price. YOs find out, they go in, group up, and they'll go after the lads and stuff. They don't give a fuck. They'll go in, a couple of them and that, they'll have shanks or they'll just use their hands. They'll go in and they'll go after someone. YO to YO, they fight. You've got obviously postcode gangs. You've got all the disrespect thing. Like if someone disrespects someone and stuff like that. YOs, like I say, they're 18, 19, 20-year-olds. I think up to 20 or 21, I can't remember. There's a couple of YOs on my last sentence and stuff, like first time in prison. Some of them are like quiet kids who keep themselves to themselves. They're not pussycats, though. They're in for serious fucking crimes, man. Some of them, you know what I mean? Like say murder, drugs, GBH and stuff like that. They don't give a fuck. And when I say they don't give a fuck, prisoners don't give a fuck. But YOs, they've got something to prove. That's the point I'm getting at. It's like they've got a chip on the shoulder. They've got something to prove. They need to be ruthless. They need to be lawless. They need to, if someone disrespects them, they need to go to the extreme to make a point and stuff. And they're dangerous little fuckers. Like I said, I'm 6'4", 20 stone guy. I was a cleaner on my last stretch, so some of the YOs, they come to you for advice and stuff. How do you use the kiosk? How do you get visits? How do you get numbers put on your pin? Um, like some of them might be on remand and stuff coming up to trial, and they're all asking like, what do you think I'm going to get for this? I've been done for this. Got caught with this many grams. They took my phones. Got caught with this, couple of keys, ounces, whatever, drugs and stuff like that. And like I say, as a cleaner and stuff, you give advice to the lads and stuff like that. Scouts, they're very clicky within the YOs and stuff. Like if you land on a YO as a Scouser, within hours you will be connected. You will be in with the Scouts lads, because Scousers run together, black kids run together, gang members run together, obviously. So yeah, it goes on and stuff. And like I say, they've got a chip on the shoulder. They think because they're young and stuff, and they might be skinny little kids and stuff. Like YOs, like I say, to be honest, from a prisoner's perspective, they're better off being housed in their own prisons and stuff. But because of like there's that many YOs in the system, that they've come out of young offenders institutes, and they're now, like I say, because of overcrowding and stuff, they're ending up in prison with the boys and that. They don't end up in strange ways, Cat A. They seem to end up in your Cat Bs. And like I say, it is very clicky within these little gangs and stuff, and the YOs and stuff. They're a rule unto themselves, the lads, because they won't think twice about getting a shank and going after someone, because like I say, they all run together. If you fight with one of them, you fight with them all. If one of them jumps on the bar, the other one jumps on the bar. I did on my last stretch there, one of the SOs, yeah, big massive lad, yeah, I'm not going to mention his name, top screw, and one lad, they was trying to split these two IOs up. One was going to go, they was both going down the main. I was on the induction wing, yeah. For those that don't know, induction wing's the first wing you land on when you land on in prison, unless you Cat A'd off and stuff. But like I say, it's a Cat B prison, so that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, it's just fucking crazy. Like, so they was going to try and split these two IOs up. One was going down the main. Well, they're both going down the main, but it was going on different wings, yeah. These two lads wanted to be padded up together. Now it's prison, you can't tell the screws, yeah. You can ask about, oh, well, we'll go together, we'll move, we'll both go down the main together, but we want to be padded up together. But obviously it's prison. And if the screws don't like you, right, they're going to stitch you up, they're going to move you to a fucking wing you don't want to move on, and they're not going to let you move with your boy. So, and that's what goes on. So these two kids got told they was getting moved, and they was moving whether they liked it or not. If they refused, they was just going to get twisted up, security were going to come down, the Mufti squad as they're known, grip them up and drag them down the main, and they're going to get stitched up, right? So what the lads both did, they jumped upon the bars. For those that don't know what jumping on the bars means, on the twos, so that's your first landing, as it's called, the twos, they jump up on the bars. As soon as you jump up on the bars, the screws like have got to assume you're going to jump and all this, and then like everyone gets locked behind the doors, everyone to your doors, and they lock everyone down, and then they inflate a big bouncy castle like below it just in case you fall and jump and all that sort of stuff. And the lads, they was only young lads, they was about 6 stone wet through, and the SO's a big, like, intimidating size. He's a monster, he's a big lad, and they just said, oh, fuck off you lads, you don't fucking talk to me, mate. And they just told him straight, mate. And obviously eventually they all got ragged off and stuff, and they got fucked up pretty bad, the two kids. It goes on. But like I say, they're ruthless, they're boisterous, they're full of like testosterone, they're young lads that they're getting about, they think they're big, they think they're bad, they think they know it all. Like I say, there's some lads, like I say, there's some good lads in the YOs and stuff, I get on with them. But like I say, as an older con, yeah, when you're an older con, yeah, you just want to do your jail, yeah, you're a quiet guy, you do your graft, like obviously, I was working on the wing, so I do my graft, and you just want to chill, like you don't want any... You just want to live a quiet life. You don't like all the fucking screaming, shouting, kicking off, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? You can handle yourself, or of course you can. But like I say, you just want to live a quiet sentence. And these YOs, they'll have the music blurring, the fucking, like I say, they're doing a bit of this, they're doing a bit of that, they're spiced off the fucking tits, they're drugged out their head, they're stoned, they're getting about the landing, smoking fucking weed openly, smoking spice openly, going in, robbing people's TVs, the YO that used to be on my wing that ended up down the main, like I said, when you move down the main, as a YO, if you end up in a Cat B prison, yeah, which is highly likely, is the only thing that's going to, everything's the same for prisoners, except for you, you don't get padded up with a con, you get padded up with another YO. So another lad that's like 18, 19, 20, 21 year old, yeah, you'll get padded up with him. That's the only difference, really. Apart from that, all the same rules apply. Like I say, YOs are just the YO that I bumped into, that I used to give advice to and stuff. When he was down the main and stuff, I bumped into him in healthcare. I was just having my injections and stuff. I was getting my hepatitis B injections. I was chatting to him. I said, "What's it like down there, like down the main?" And he said, "Oh yeah." He said it's sweet and this and that, and he's been scrapping and stuff and all the rest of it. And he said if you can get through a day where someone's not been in your cell and robbed your telly, or walked into your pad with a blade and said, "Give me your fucking TV," right? Or someone's walked in your pad and they've pulled a shank on you. A shank's like a homemade knife, or different fucking like toothpaste with a razor blade just like burnt into it and stuff, so you can cut you from ear to ear. If someone's not coming your pad with a shank and stuff, and like taking your drugs off you, or stolen clothes from you, or taking your canteen from you, then you're doing all right. And like I say, it goes on, man. Yeah, I mean, for cons that'll watch this and stuff, they'll know what YOs are about. Like I say, they're young, they feel like they got something to prove, they think they're bigger, they think they're badder, they think they know it all, right? And like I say, I'm slagging them off. I got on with them. But like I say, that's just how they are and stuff. And you know what? If it comes down to kickoffs and stuff, right? Even if it's with an older con, yeah, they're like a little group, yeah. And they won't think twice about going into a pad, 3 or 4 of them, right? If you're on your own, yeah, the 3 or 4 of them will not think twice about walking into your pad, slashing you, throwing hot water and sugar over you. It's called like napalming, they call it in prison. Napalm, what it is, the hot water and the sugar congeals, right? So when you throw it into someone's face, the hot water melts the skin and the sugar sticks, so it drags your skin off your face. And it does go on. Like I say, I'm not trying to scare any like young offenders, that like lads that might be going to prison as a YO. Like I say, there's 2 institutes, yeah. You've got the Young Offenders Institutes, yeah. But like I say, because of overcrowding within prisons and stuff, a lot of YOs are ending up from court. They're going straight to Cat B prisons. And it's as simple as that. And like I say, when you land at a Cat B prison, if you're getting about with your chest puffed out and your shoulders, you're walking like a bad man and all that sort of crap, cons will slap you all over. But like I say, then once you hit the ground running and stuff, and you get boys and stuff, and you've got lads behind you, retribution's a big thing in prisons. Like the lads will get together and they'll think, you know what, let's fucking have him. Like I say, it's all about, the biggest point I've got about YOs, it's like they've got a chip on the shoulder, it's like they've got something to prove, that they're bigger, they're badder, and everything else. Don't fuck with me. That's what they're trying to say, really, in layman's terms. Don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? And some of them are ballsy kids, man, and some of them won't think twice. And I've also seen YOs that have been given a slap and that have been put in the place because they're talking out of turn and stuff. If they speak to the cleaners like shit, or when they get in the food and they start ballooning about the size of the portion or something, the lads, the cleaners and that, they'll give them a crack. It happens, prisoner to prisoner, prisoner to YO, YO to fucking prisoner, YO to screws, screws to YOs. We're all fighting amongst ourselves, man. It goes on. We're all fucking angry at the prison system at the end of the day, and that's just the way it goes. I can't really go any further really on YOs. It's just they're boisterous. They think they know it all. They think they're bad. Some of them are bad. Some of them are bad little kids. You know what I mean? It goes on. And like I say, I get on with everyone. Me, I've got no fucking got no hatred for anyone. The only fucking prisoners I hate, me, are nonces and rapists, yeah, who are called VPs. The scum of the earth, right? Child molesters, rapists, and fucking nonsense, mate. They all need fucking stringing up, as far as I'm concerned. But like I say, this video is just about YOs, the attitude, the behaviour. And if you are 18, 19, 20, 21 year old, I think 20 or 21 is the cut-off, I'm not sure. But if you go to prison, if you go to court as an 18, 19, 20, 21 year old, chances are you're going to end up in a Cat B prison. don't worry about it. Cat B prisons like Butlins with bars, mobile phones, drugs everywhere. Screws in Cat Bs are alright. If you want a problem with a screw, you'll get a problem. If you've got the right attitude within prison and you yes sir, no sir, then you just fucking, you don't have to arse lick. You don't arse lick, but if you need to get something right, you work your way through the screws to find a screw that will go and do what you need him to do. Like there's some screws that'll just say yeah just to fob you off, and other screws will actually do it. Just a case of working your way through the screws, trying to find out which screws will go that extra mile for you. And the ones that do, they're the ones to keep on side and keep sweet and have the respect for. The other screws, you just don't ask them for fuck all. But yeah, like I say, it's just one of them things, man. Prison's prison, but don't stress and worry about it if you're going to go to prison. If you're a quiet kid, you'll be left alone. If you're an arsehole and you get about and you think you're bad, you'll end up coming unstuck. You'll come unglued. Because, like I say in my video yesterday, there's always someone bigger and harder. No matter how big and bad you think you are, there's always someone bigger and harder, and it's prison. And there's no real laws in prison apart from don't grass, right? And if you're gonna have a kick off, you do it behind your door. Apart from that, there's prison rules, yeah, from the prison, and then there's cons rules, yeah. But if you're a good kid and you keep your head down, you won't be mithered. Right, listen, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this answers a few questions for the lads. Any comments, like, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Alright guys, bye.